got a request pending under the Freedom of Information Act to tour the federal government's marijuana grow. They have their own grow. It's in the state of Mississippi. We're looking for all the documentation. They're the federal government's own standards for how the federal government grows marijuana and distributes it to patients. And what we're going to do is have a tour with some video cameras and, try to, I just want to see how they do it, and then we pattern our efforts identical as to the extent we can to what the federal government does, and then can they really complain? I mean, they're doing it themselves this way, so we do it that way as well in Colorado. And certainly we invite, the physicians to accompany us on this tour.
Sure. Interesting. Where in Mississippi is it?
Good question. We don't even know that. It's like Area 51. We'll get all this stuff. Dig it up.
Okay.
If you tried that, you would not want to pattern.
I've heard that. We can probably do better than the federal government when it comes to growing. Well, we'll use that as our minimum, and then we'll build from there.
Obviously, you got a lot on your plate. I'm not going to ask you for a timeline, but it all kind of goes hand in hand.
We know our timeline. We know what you've mentioned, timeline, and we will give you something.
Right.
I think a lot of that depends on input from other parties. And so to the degree that we're able to get the information from all, and of course we're gathering our own sources as well, like the university and people in the Department of Agriculture, but they are not generally, as far as we know, in the trenches growing. So those of you who are, and for whom, you can detail, and you can do it anonymously if you wish, detail what your practices are, what your concerns are, and we'll sift through that, and of course in the group then present you with the information that we collect, so that you have feedback here. But we need to know what people are doing, and then we can look at the safety aspects.
You may want to, just a suggestion, I know that their contact information was put out on our sheet. If you're in that, do you want to establish a timeline for people to respond? Is there something we can do to facilitate that process for you?
Yeah. Let's establish, within the month. Where does it fit in with your guidelines? You want to have stuff done by January, February. Is that correct? Okay, so 4 weeks. We'd like to have an information gathering. Alan, what do you feel?
I think if we can get information from you all by, we have 2 weeks till our next meeting. I think we should be able to say, here's what people are typically using.
Fine.
Here's what we've learned from the Department of Agriculture and CSU. So if we can have something by the beginning of that week of our meeting, which is on the 21st, is that correct?
The 18th this month.
The 18th. Let's say around the 18th. But I know that Dr. Bregman and I are available at any point in time. Any of you want to contact us. I don't care if it's midnight. If that's when you want to talk, let's talk. So, but let's try to shoot for the 1st.
But the sifting, if you already know information that you're using and stuff like that, just send it on. And mark out, these are the most important things. This is what I wouldn't want in the product. This is what I want on the label. Bingo, bingo, bingo. We're in.
And because I have not, and Paul has not been terribly successful at just saying, hey, tell us, I got nothing. Sorry, focus. Please, this is really kind of now a formal appeal to start giving information to us.
The NIPS group clearly wants to work with you all.
Yes, we're very, very excited about meeting with you all, as you have done, Nick, with your groups as well. So if you want to set up formal meetings, we will do it. We'll arrange a time around that's going to be convenient for anyone.
And Jessica, you expressed.
Yeah, I'm gonna get together with you guys.
Exactly, bingo.
Go over the labels.
And I think that, as I'm part of the grow group, we were talking about the waste issue too, and so we should work closely on that.
The recommendation, though I'm not on the grow group, that I would make would be that you guys also break out for growing with nutrients versus organic growing, where people are building from a soil and using water only. There would be certain things in that soil that these doctors would want to know about as well. And
I'm already getting a list together for them, and that's one of the categories.
Cool. I just wanted to throw that out there just in case it wasn't being addressed.
at.
Well, we've solicited information from USDA and from AMS on what is organic, and your input on what you think organic is, and whether we should base this on some sort of outside standard is important, because you can label something organic if 95% of what goes into it or on it is organic, but you can't call it certified organic unless it's 100%. So these are distinctions that are important, so we're gathering this information, and we need your input on whether these are meaningful labels for what for medical cannabis.
Okay.
Or not.
So by the 18th, if you would, try and reach out to the, section of the industry that you represent, get some feedback, and